Hey everybody, welcome back to Hotel Dropouts. This time we're gonna, if I remember correctly, we did mention before the end of the last episode that we would like to talk about how we actually met for the first time between the three of us. And then perhaps we might talk about relationships as well, right?
Yeah,
Um,
the fated meeting.
I just want to apologize right now. Sorry if I sound a little under the weather. I think I ate something not quite right, and my stomach's not feeling too good. Also, I've been moving out, so it's been long, hard days, and the dust really agitates my nose. So I feel if I sound a little tired and maybe not 100%, that's the reason.
You sound about 60% now.
I'm giving that effort, that 10% effort to bring me just above 50, you know.
I mean, this is fine as well. We're inching into ASMR territory.
Is that right? Am I
Mm,
am I whispering into the
No. So apparently, Benny has been grouchy and tired, and Dan has just been a naughty alcoholic. So they're both going to sound a bit jaded. Appropriate for our age, which is fine. Okay, well, so how's everybody doing?
uh,
Feels like
what- yeah, Dan, go for it. I've spoken a bit already.
sure. Hello, everyone. Thank you for the question. I'm doing pretty good. Yesterday we played some D&D with a couple of friends.
Oh, you
It
did?
was an interesting experience.
Wait, who's the game master? Have you ever been one?
I haven't. I think I would like to try it one time, but yesterday we went to a place that hosts them, so the master was somebody like outside of our friends group, and
Oh
it
my
went
God.
well.
Bernard's
Okay,
really
then.
yeah.
Yeah, I used to play D&D. I loved the experience. I mean, it depends also, of course, on the group of people you're playing with. Some people just want a power game. Some people want a power fantasy. Some people just want a war game. But if you find the right group that doesn't stick too much to the rules and just focus on having a good time and have fun, it's quite a fun improv acting kind of session.
Yeah, that's what it was for us as well. I think our group worked pretty well together. The game master told us that we are on the diplomatic side. A lot of the people they just come in and bash everything they see without thinking much. So I guess that's a compliment you could say. And we already arranged our next time, but because we're all 30-year-olds, it was really hard to find a spot when everyone is free. Annoyingly hard. One friend was a bit too strict with his schedules and didn't want to budge even one. Like he goes to one place where he practices something. So, but didn't want to even move one training session.
Oh, the struggle in our 30s. I read somewhere that when you get into your 30s, that's when you start to really notice that your friends are no longer as available as they once were in your 20s. And that's when, people just start veering off into their own things.
That's true, but so far I'm really happy, and I think I'm lucky that the majority of my friends are still pretty available, and I can pretty much just almost drop in unexpectedly, and we can still hang out a little bit.
Is D&D more
I don't
violent in
know.
Russian?
I guess it could sound like that for someone that doesn't speak Russian. I've heard people say that it sounds like we're arguing, even if we're not.
My goodness. Because we have
Isn't that the same for German though?
I think so, yeah.
all these languages spoken by traumatized people. But we have those D&D bars as well in Taiwan, and for some reason, it just feels like it sounds stupid in Chinese. I felt kind of cringe being there, but I'm not against the idea. I feel like it could be fun.
Can you drop a line in Chinese on how a D&D game would sound like?
Drop a line, like what?
Like 在你前面有一个妖怪，你怎么跟他？你现在想做什么？
Okay, but when spoken by you, it sounded like an immigrant is doing the game mastering.
Okay, I mean technically I'm a foreigner, so
Now I don't know why, but when you speak Chinese, you do have that Indonesian flair. You know, the one time I was talking to you at my dad's place, and my grandmother has like a full-time nurse from Indonesia who speaks Chinese as well, and then she was just like, "Oh, there's another Indonesian."
I mean I did grow up
Interesting.
there. I wouldn't be surprised if my speaking habits were influenced by it.
I mean, it sounds good. It's a flair. So how about you, Benny? What did you do this week?
It was quite a busy week actually. Since the last Sunday to basically this Sunday, I've been always meeting somebody every day almost. I met my cousin last Sunday. We went to the spa. She really needed it. She's going through a rough time. I met my friend and a lady I'm kind of seeing on Monday. I don't think I remember what I did on Tuesday.
It sounds very
I
productive.
gotta check my calendar real quick because if it's not on the calendar, I tend to forget it. But it's safe to say I've met quite a lot of old friends. And then I was moving out from my apartment yesterday. Thankfully, a good friend of mine, he decided to stay over at my place. And then we basically dismantled 2 beds, 2 tables, 2 office chairs, 2 wooden chairs, and 1 drawer. And it was a surprise for me because there is this company that collects trash. In German, you call it an Entsorgungsfirma. And they basically, how it works is that they weigh your vehicle before and after, and then they charge the difference of weight, right? And we had a lot of plastic parts, and also mattress counts as um, general waste. But also half of the load was old wood because there was a lot of wooden parts for the bed frames and the tables. So all in all, it weighed 300 kilograms. I was surprised. Like 300 kilograms does not sound light.
That's surprisingly
Yeah.
light.
Really?
Did you say
300 sounds like such a big number, though.
But did you just say 2 bed frames and a commode or a closet, like the big one?
It's a commode, so it's like a drawer. It's not a
Okay.
closet. It's like about waist high. There's 6 drawers,
Ah.
and that's all I got. Yeah. So yeah,
It's like proper
that's
wooden
also one
furniture.
of the reasons why I'm
Yeah.
feeling so tired because it was a long day, and my friend came all the way from a different town called Arau. I guess you can call it more a city than a town. And I would say my one of the love language I have is acts of service, and I think we maybe should talk about this as well later. But I really wanted to drive him back to show my appreciation, and of course
You
it
have a
was
car.
a I borrowed a delivery van from my uncle.
Such a manly week. You've been assembling, disassembling, ferrying people around.
That's only on the Saturday though. Most of the week I've been just going to places and meeting people, going to spas. Oh, we did go axe throwing on Monday. That was fun. Have you ever done that?
Extra. What the hell is extra?
So it's okay. If you imagine like a shooting range, but instead of shooting guns, you're throwing axes.
Oh, right. Yeah. I think Dan's been to one of those as well in Latvia.
Or you should play pigeons.
No. It's just basically how this company had it set up is that they had a wall of a block of wood, like several blocks of wood lined up to be a wall in the back. It's about 5 meters distance, and you just chuck an axe at the target.
Okay. Yeah. I remember now. Sorry, for some reason I thought you were talking about guns. I don't think. No, I never. I never been to a place like that. I threw an axe once because me and Arina were at a place for like a little retreat. It was just a cabin in the woods, and, and they had a random board with a bullseye on it and axes sticking out of it. And I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to try it out.
An Excalibur moment.
Yeah. But I've never been to a place like you were. Looks interesting.
It is. It is. We basically had a 1 hour session, and it went by really quickly. But I really embarrassed myself. So all right. So I went there with my backpack and my phone and everything else. Right. I left it at the side, and when me and my friends left, I realized I left my bag in the place. I was so, how do I say, distracted. I just forgot about my backpack, and we walked all the way from the place to the train station, and then we had to walk back. And okay, that's not even the worst part. Like after walking back and getting my backpack, we walked all the way back to the train station again, and then I realized I left my phone back there again,
No.
and we had to walk back again. It was so embarrassing. I felt so bad.
But why did you have to take them with you? You could be the one going back to get it yourself, and then you could just have them wait by the train station.
Well, that's the thing, right? So I was there with the lady I was interested with, and a mutual friend of ours. The mutual friend of ours had a different plan. Like, so she had a meeting with somebody else. So she left. So it was just me and her. And when we decided to she decided to stick with me, which is very nice of her. But I really felt bad that we had to walk back and forth twice. It was like, oh no, I feel like such a fool.
It's extra workout. I think it's fine. It's endearing. You know, it'll be an experience for them to remember.
Well, she did
Yeah.
tease me about it for quite a bit, but I think it's quite, she was quite patient about it. I mean, of course, uh, you could see like she's like, oh no, really? Like she wasn't too pleased about it, but she was very patient about it, and that's pretty cool.
That's adorable. You must have been so. Were you nervous? Is that why you left your stuff at the range? Like, how did this happen?
If I'm to be honest, I really don't know. I I was just so distracted. Like it was such a thrilling experience because you're just, there was different kind of stuff you could throw. There's the normal hand axe. There's
Uh-huh.
the tactical tomahawk. There is like a two-handed axe, which you really just lob it really with two hands, and it's pretty cool. And then they also had a shovel. I saw they had other stuff on the wall, but I would say amongst everything, the shovel was the most difficult. The tomahawk was the easiest to throw because you literally just chuck it with all your might. And if it doesn't stab into the axe blade, then it has like a pick kind of shape on the other side. Or the handle, there's like a little spike at the bottom as well, like a sharpened spike. And literally any part of that axe would have been causing damage.
Would be cool
But
if he had ninja stars.
it's crazy. Yeah, it's like a ninja star. But like just the thrill of having this experience and being around the girl I like and just like everything all together, and I just don't think about it anymore.
So
It's just
Dan,
like, wow, have a good time. All right, let's go. Bye.
So Dan, what we can take from this experience is that when Benny was hanging out with us in Latvia, it was not thrilling enough for him to forget anything because he remembered
That's
his
what I
back.
keep sitting and thinking about.
No, Benny, we're not thrilling enough.
No,
Oh,
I'm just
come
joking,
on.
though.
It's not like I was super analytical when I was
Mm.
with you guys. Like, there's 3 steps to the left. I see this, 3 steps to the right.
All right, all right. Oh my goodness. So I'm the only person who hasn't done much out of the week. I've just been scripting. I'm trying to make my animation work, and oh my goodness, I've been buried in front of a computer. And throughout scripting, I've just been listening to these history podcasts about Alexander the Great, and it's kind of insane. I really recommend it. There's a new show on Netflix about this. It's precisely about Alexander. It's really nice. I just feel like we've been taught so many misconceptions about him as a kid,
What do you
right?
mean?
Because when I say Alexander the Great, what do you think of?
So I'm not sure I remember correctly, but I think he was a Greek guy, wasn't he?
He's Macedonian. So yeah, part of
Okay.
Greek. Yeah.
And I remember he was just like 16 when he started his conquest of the whole, what do you call it? Like Southern Europe?
No, I think it was the Asia Minor at the time you call it that, modern day Turkey in that region.
Yeah, but didn't he go also to Italy and stuff?
Oh, I think he in the early days he hasn't. In the early days he was focused on fighting the Persian threat. So he was mostly fighting towards Babylon, and in doing that, I think he did venture into modern day Italy because there were some coastal cities there that he took over.
Yeah, basically, because when I think his conquest was somewhat similar of the whole Roman Empire layout, wasn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. And it was kind of insane because when we speak about Alexander, all we think of, military strategist, a genius, blah blah blah. He's like a really good fighter, a really good leader. But when you really delve into the story, it's kind of insane. He was always an outcast. He never felt kind of like accepted by the Greek. Even in Macedon, he was exiled for a long time by his own father, and he was he was not just like a good military strategist, which he was a good fighter as well, but I would say he is even more insane in terms of fighting PR battles. Like he was able to kind of like, he would make a pilgrimage, he would go to these sacred sites, and he would pledge himself to the divine. And then there would be rumors spreading that, oh, Alexander is the son of Zeus, for instance. And then when he basically conquered Egypt, he also threw himself into the Egyptian religion at the time. And then they would say that he's the blessed, or either blessed one or the son of Ra, which is kind of insane. Like that's how he gathered so much public support, and how he builds himself into like a legend kind of. Anyway, I'm
You know?
I'm geeking out about Alexander.
Yeah, I was just thinking, like, do you think he had some kind of rumor spreaders as well? Kind of like modern day influencers, well, where he'll have a bunch of people that he pays, he keeps on the payroll to go to, I don't know, local drinking taverns or whatever, and
Oh my
like,
god, he didn't have to. He went viral. The equivalent of ancient viral. Whenever he basically succeeded in a couple of warfares against Persia. Once was fighting a general under the so the Persian king at the time was Darius the Third. And in his first battle, in Alexander's first battle, he defeated the general Memnon. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but in all of the fights that he won against Persia, it was always like a David versus Goliath situation. They were always outnumbered, but they somehow won, and so he was already viral. People were always talking about him, and yeah, there's a dark side to him as well. But anyway, that's for another time. And yeah, and then the one thing that has recently come about is like people are freaking out over some historians claiming that, oh, Alexander the Great had a gay lover, uh, but I guess sexuality doesn't apply back in those days. It was just between either sexual or not sexual. But yeah, he did have kind of like a lover, and
wasn't there like also I don't remember the word. It's not exactly taboo, but I'm sure there was also a definition for not hetero couples, wasn't it?
uh,
Or ex of
no, that
mention?
I think you're thinking more about the more about Roman society, whereas in Roman society it was more about who's being dominant and who's submissive, and the gender of the person that you engage in these acts with is irrelevant. It's more important that you're not the submissive one. Um, but yeah, in classic Hellenistic fashion in Greece, uh, people kind of just had relationships with each other. It doesn't really matter. I mean, marriage is mostly for practical reasons. So if you're the son of a farmer, you would naturally marry a daughter of another farmer, so you can combine your crop yield, right? But yeah, I guess that segues into today's topic. I want to talk about relationships in terms of friendship and in terms of romantic relationships.
Okay, speaking of friendships, I think we got a strong friendship going on.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, I think maybe my memory is faulty. So correct me on this, but I think I befriended Dan before I really befriended you. Is that correct, Jamie?
Ah, I I became friends with you on that day because when we first started school, we had these was it a town meeting that we had to go? So the entire class or entire first year, we marched up the mountain to this local high school, and they had
Oh yes, I
right.
remember
It's a
this.
huge auditorium.
They were talking about the whole weed and stuff, right? Like this is drugs, this is bad for you. I
Oh,
think
right.
right.
They insisted on not consuming any kind of drugs.
All right, okay, Jamie, I'm gonna be real.
Mm-hmm.
That was not my first memory that stuck of you. My first
No.
memory that stuck of you was you remember this little circular thing by the lake where the helicopters would land in summer?
Oh, yeah, yeah, where people jump into the lake.
Yeah, I remember going out one night and you were there and you shared like you were with and what's the Moroccan guy again? Yeah. Um I remember they were there too, and I remember you out of everybody else were more friendlier and spoke with me, and that's where my first uh or I would say the earliest memory of you would come to me.
Huh. But I spoke to you first when we're on our way to that council meeting thing, and that was my first memory of you because you turned around and then you spoke Chinese, and I think maybe I said something in Chinese, and then you were like, "Oh," you responded in Chinese, and I was in shock. That was a cute moment.
It could be. I think, but I was still pretty much everything was new. I was still kind of like alone, and
You were timid,
I think I
for
was still
sure.
trying to adapt. Yeah. And don't forget, like at that time, I was still trying to force myself to come out of my social shell.
Uh-huh.
Uh, so I think I was quite overwhelmed with quite a lot of stuff, new environment and stuff. So I just maybe I don't remember as much, but like moments like that where you specifically were speaking with me more than everybody else, like that's when I realized like, hey, this guy is friendly. I'd like to be friends with him because he's showing me attention, right? Like he's interested in getting to know me, and that was the first real memory I have of you.
Was I only talking to you because I thought you were cute? Wait, no. Okay, no.
I think
Thank
I
goodness
think
I
that's
didn't.
up to you. I think that was up to you to know.
No. At the time, it wasn't. I was just naturally drawn to people that are timid. I don't know why. That has always been the case since I was in school. I was always the kind of like the outspoken weird guy, and then I'm always the first one to befriend some of the more timid guys in class.
Actually, Dan, were you the one who invited me to go to that hangout?
I don't remember. I don't remember how I myself got into it.
I think you might, because you were closer to and and the rest. I think you might have been invited me,
I don't
the one
think
who
so,
invited me.
because that was first years, and during the first year we weren't really that close.
Well, I
Hmm.
remember I met you and we it in class, like the first class where we all had to do self introduction. In my memory, we clicked straight away because of video games. I everybody was trying to sell their best selves, like sounding interesting and successful and stuff. And I remember when it came to my turn, I was like, man, look at all these fake guys. I'ma just say what I like to do, and if they like it, they can hang out with me, and if they don't like it, they can walk away. So I was just like, yeah, I like video games. And what else did I say? I don't remember, but
I
that
think
was
maybe you said that you're going to you want to join the military or something, or you're interested in it or something like that.
I don't remember, to be honest. I
Wow.
think I said when I was younger I wanted to be a soldier or something like that.
What?
But yeah.
I suppose you did fulfill your childhood goals. Hashtag goals.
It did.
Yeah,
Oh
I
my.
mean, um actually in a sense, yes. I mean, when I was a child I had the typical like, I won't be an astronaut, I won't be a soldier. I think I watched too much war films. Like there was a time where I watched, I think it was Enemy at the Gates or something like that. It was the Russian sniper film.
Mm.
Um,
Oh, I
and I was
remember
like,
that film.
oh,
Wait, the Russian
yeah,
sniper.
right?
No. Do you
Yeah, it
guys
was a
remember
good
that
one.
film that I think all of us watched, and it follows the story of a group of Russian soldiers in Afghanistan?
Ah, that's another one. Uh,
That one was good.
in English, Ninth Brigade, Ninth Company, something like that.
Ah, my goodness. I
I
didn't.
think I remember that, but I'm not so sure. My
There-
memory of it is easy.
There's one guy in that movie that was just drop dead gorgeous. It's insane. Didn't look like a soldier. Anyway, so my first memory of Dan was actually that I heard some Taiwanese people in your class, which is 1E, right? It was the, yeah, 1E. And then they were saying that, I don't know what we were talking about, but just casually they mentioned that you're part of the Russian group. So implying that you're Russian. And I just remembered saying, but that guy looks like a giant version of an imperial emperor penguin because you looked really cute, like with your hair like that. And I was like, he looks like a penguin. He cannot be Russian because we were all kind of I guess we were all kind of racist in a way because we were speaking in Chinese, people didn't understand, but then we would always have a stereotype for Russian people.
Oh, I didn't know that.
But yeah,
What is the stereotype for Russian people, for the Taiwanese?
I think it was the group of us was Taiwan. We were Taiwanese, people from Hong Kong, and Chinese people as well. And then they would all make fun of how like the Russian guys are just like the redneck version of white people, kind of. Yeah, they looked rough. But
We do like to start our podcast with a dash of making enemies of different nations.
exactly. I just feel like if we drop a Kalishnikov in front of you guys, that you'd be able to just pick it up, disassemble it, and then put it back together. It's built into the DNA.
Well,
Wait,
not sure about DNA, but I think they have to do it in school,
what?
or at least they have the opportunity to do it. Not sure. Well, probably today even more.
Oh my
Like,
goodness. Are they still using Kalishnikovs?
yeah.
Oh, I'd imagine it's cheap. Right.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of more modernized versions of it, like the 101, 102, 103. I think it goes all the way to 105 even.
My goodness.
Well, I think they're all basically the same thing. They just chambers for different rounds or different barrel lengths.
I firmly believe that even deep into the dystopian cyberpunk future that awaits us, there would still be a Kalishnikov designed cyber gun.
Most
Maybe.
likely.
I
But
imagine probably warfare in the very, very far future could be really different. I imagine there will be maybe people that are like these herders of swarms of different drones and stuff like that.
Oh
And
my goodness, yeah,
you're
drones.
like fighting out the real life RTSs of trying to kill the core, which is you and your enemy with like your drone army.
Because
do you think,
sorry?
I was just thinking, do you think warfare might ever go into, by the way, we are tangenting so hard from the original topic. But do you think warfare might one day become like a simulated thing, so that instead of having infrastructural and uh, unintended casualties of war, that it might transition into a more, I don't know, like champion based or simulated environment?
I highly doubt it. Champion space, like you're thinking about the medieval classical duel between, leaders of both groups. But seeing how corrupt and how, how self-serving these world leaders are in today's world, I cannot imagine them putting their own lives, in danger. It's far better
I
to
mean,
just, yeah.
there's probably going to be some sort of cyber warfare. I guess we already have it, and it will probably become more and more important.
Because
That
I
days,
saw.
but I think the goal will still be to like destroy actual physical assets or personnel.
Drones are so pivotal in just changing how modern warfare is waged. Like it's insane. Just have you seen those fireworks, those light shows that they do in China?
Yes, I know of
Right, they would
what you're
have
talking about.
they would have an entire swarm of just drones, and then it's just like they fly in sort of like kind of like a pack of sardines in the ocean, and it's insane. They have kind of like a swarm behavior.
I've seen it.
Isn't there like a Black Mirror episode about drones and stuff? I don't really watch that series, but I'm pretty sure I saw something about Black Mirror episode where the drones like were attacking people.
I wouldn't be surprised. That would be terrifying.
I didn't see that episode. I didn't watch it too much, but yeah, I agree with Jamie. That sounds like right up their alley.
Wait, we should get back. Dan, what's your first impression or memory of me and Benny?
Hard turn back to on topic.
Yeah.
My first impression of Bernard was, I think, pretty much there during our introduction in class, and I thought to myself that it's cool that he actually spoke out about like liking to play games, because at that time, of course, I also like to play games, but I would chicken out to talk about it. Like
Oh yeah,
I
it's
didn't want
embarrassing.
give
Sorry.
this impression that I'm just, a crazy gamer that doesn't do anything else in life.
A nerd.
And I feel like a lot of people that are not that much into gaming kind of assume that if they hear that, like something like that. But
Yeah.
anyways, I thought that's pretty brave. That's cool. That I already know somebody that I can try to talk to. And I remember when, I think maybe I'm wrong, but I think you had mentioned that you have this idea of joining the military, or you're interested in it. And at that time, I thought, that this is just like this, not to sound mean, but childish dream or something like that. Like it's just a phase and it's going to go away. But am I so wrong? Right?
Yeah, exactly. Next time Benny goes back, he's gonna combine both skills. He's gonna start operating drones. Notice how I swivel the
Maybe.
conversation back to the tangent we were just on.
By the
Well,
way,
all right, all right.
just a
Let me
reminder
just.
for everyone: Bernard is a peacekeeper. If somebody didn't watch the first episode.
Quotation marks.
Yeah, and I like keeping peace between the two of you, as I mentioned. It's just a phase, bro. Like it's not a. I don't want to make it my personality, you know. In fact, I don't really want to talk about it too much.
I don't remember if I ever had a fight with Dan, to be honest. I don't think Dan, did we argue at some point?
I remember I made you really upset and angry when we were preparing for, I think it was like a bookkeeping or financial subject.
Uh-huh.
I was preparing for a test or even an exam, and I couldn't understand something. I was like, I was just not happy with myself, and I was saying, "Why am I like I can't understand this? This is so stupid. It's annoying." I was just whining, and I think you got really angry. If I remember correctly, you said it's because you're trying your best to help me and explain it to me, but I'm sitting there and like being whiny and crying like a toddler.
I have no memory of this.
I
You
think
talking
I
about
remember
accounting,
that.
maybe?
I was like, "Oh my God, Jamie is so right." Yeah, maybe accounting. I was like, "Oh
Ah,
my God, Jamie is so right. I
No, it
better."
was. It was. I remember with the solution to your issue then was that we make a little rap. Remember CDDCC? You remember that one?
Oh yeah, I remember something like
Credit,
that. Yeah.
credit, debit, credit, credit. I think it was. What was the main the primary credit or debit for each account?
was it that, or was it because I feel like one of the more complicated things we did was calculating amortization?
No, no, no. It was. I remember it was that. That's why the whole rap thing came into my mind, like
Hmm.
CDDCC. And for some reason, once we started saying that and singing that, kinda, it clicked with Dan a lot faster.
So weird because I was never good enough to teach someone. So I'm surprised that apparently I had tried to teach Dan.
No, you did.
Being
You were
harsh on
quite
yourself.
smart. A lot of people came to you for a lot of things, Jamie.
True, true.
Oh, I used to be smart.
Weren't you also being paid to do people's homework as well? I'm pretty
Like,
sure that was a thing.
yes, because I at the time you have to understand, like having been to these international schools, I was really put to work. So, in terms of mathematics and sciences and essay writing in particular, that was we were doing a lot of writing. So writing essays, I could do it really fast, and I think I was earning 50 francs per essay, and each essay was like 6 pages long with graphs and stuff.
I mean, at that age, 50 francs? Isn't that making bank?
It was enough for me to go out to to my favorite sushi place.
Oh, is it that lady?
Yeah, that place by the lake. Oh my goodness, they were the funniest.
Oh my god. Second year, I was spending so much money there. I think I blew like 4,000 on that place.
Which is strange because there was another sushi place that we just didn't end up going, I guess.
Yeah, but the lady was really nice, and sometimes she would give me like extra stuff because I think it's also because like customer retention, you know, because I'm
Could
always going
be.
there and like I'm always blowing like at least 200 francs each time.
She was always nice to whoever spoke Chinese. Maybe you revealed your secret Chinese side.
It wasn't a secret, but yes, I do remember speaking Mandarin with her a bit. Oh, 我要这个,我要那个.
Oh my goodness. Wait, okay. So I don't remember. I don't know if I ever made Dan angry, but I'm sure I have. But I'm so shameless that I don't remember them. But I do remember Dan getting frustrated at some point, and it was second year. It was in Rosemont, and then both you and Dan were in your room because the two of you had the same. You guys were roommates, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
And Dan was just so upset about being single, I guess. And I don't know, Dan was just like he was on his period, kind of. And I remember
Yeah.
that time because Dan was on his period, and then it got better for him. And then at some point, Bernard went into his own period. Like Benny, you did have your own period. Oh my goodness, that was
Yes,
insane.
I know, and I do apologize for it. I think I was just being whiny and just snappy and sassy, and I think I was just generally an unpleasant person to be with.
No, I
And
do have
unfortunately, Jamie, you're the closest, so you got lashed at
I
the
do
most,
have
I
to
think.
I have to objectively say that you guys were kind of intense because this is coming from a guy who regularly hangs out with women, and a lot of my friends were girls, and I hang out with them when they're on their actual period, and it still wasn't as intense as you, Bernard.
I'm gonna be real though. I don't remember what caused it. I know I was very unsatisfied and very unhappy with something. I just don't remember what exactly.
I'm talking about the time when we were in Amsterdam, and I was with you and your sister, and your sister.
No, no, I was referencing that as well. I
Okay,
think it was because I wanted to go out more, like see more of Amsterdam, like go through the red light district and just look around and stuff.
we
And I
did.
think my sister was very controlling of me. She was like, "No, you cannot do this." And I think that was the trigger. I think the restriction to my freedom from
Uh
me
huh.
not being able to go do what I wanted to do made me very upset. And I think you were just unfortunately the one who suffered the brunt of it, which I apologize again, by the way.
Oh, I was so sad. I remembered I I went to I went a train station away from you guys to get a hotel for myself because I was so upset. I was just wondering, like, oh, I was angry because I would have gone to Amsterdam with somebody else, but I had rejected them so I could come with you, and I was feeling stupid at the time. But I don't know what you're talking about when it comes to restricting your freedom because I remember I walked with you siblings throughout Amsterdam for nearly 40 minutes. We've been through everything. We've been everywhere.
Yes, but you know, like she always had to be with me. I always had to tell her where I was going, what I was doing. Like she would be really controlling of me. I mean, you were not exposed to this because
Mm.
we would have these discussions in our hotel room, and you were not there, right?
Right, yeah.
So I was feeling very very restricted, and I mean it wasn't all that bad. Like we, as you said, we did look around. I remember we went to the coffee shop and we got high and stuff, but like besides that, everything else I was so restricted, like at least in my perspective of my memory. When was this again?
This was, yeah, I think it was second year. It was not first year.
So it was like 2012,
It
2013.
could be, yeah. That was strange.
But yeah, like she was, like I said, like in my memory of that time, my memory might be wrong, but like she basically had the final say on everything. What we're gonna eat, where we're gonna go, how we're gonna go to where we're gonna go. And it's like suffocating. And that was why I was so upset and pissy, because I wanted to go out, I wanted to walk around more. There was still things I wanted to see, and I can't, because we had to do it her way or no way at all. And I think that was what like really upset me.
I have a question, but I feel like it's not so good, but I think I'm going to go ahead anyways. Weren't you already like 18 at that time?
Yeah,
Couldn't you
You were
just
I,
tell her?
nineteen.
I was
"Uh,
already
I'm
19.
sorry, I'm just going to do the things I want to do, and you could be upset about them, but let's not argue." Something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, because
I don't
I
know.
cannot relate
I
as
felt
well.
like I had to listen to their orders. Okay, maybe not orders, but like I felt like I had to listen.
Mm.
That's strange because
Because she's the older sister, I'm the younger brother.
Yeah, because probably it was like that basically for your whole life, and being 18 and gaining this power, you might not have thought about it because you're so used to
Yeah,
the status.
and the whole first year and stuff, like we basically had our own lives. So I was already used to living how I wanted to live and doing things my way and stuff. So suddenly being restricted all of a sudden again made it so much worse for me. And I'm sorry it was a very unpleasant experience for you, Jamie.
no, it
I
was
wish
nice.
I was more mature in handling my frustrations, but um, it's a learning
My
process.
only regret was that I didn't leave you guys earlier because I went at one
Ouch.
no, I went one train station away to Amsterdam Sloterdijk, and it's like it's one of those backpackers hotels. So we share like a kitchen. There's like a whole commune area, and I ran into this really cute Australian guy, and I was just so mad. I was like, oh, I wish I had more time because he was asking if I wanted to go see all the boat houses with him, which was odd, but still.
Aw.
Oh
Uh,
well,
I would like to make it up to you someday.
one day. Oh,
You
one
should
day.
have told Bernard, sorry, booty call. I have to
Yeah,
skip on
you
you.
could have said that. I think it would be even more like understandable,
Oh
like,
yeah,
oh,
definitely. Like if it's booty call, I'm ready to move everything out of the way
Oh my goodness.
for my bros.
I
But
know, right?
you know, I've never been like I don't know why. I understand like if I hung out with you guys and then you know when we're 18 and if you said, "Oh, you have a booty call, you have to go somewhere." I would totally understand, but I would not forgive myself for doing that because I would be like, you know, I should put friendship before personal desires, and like I would see that as an act of disrespect. Are we on the same page with this, like, or do you guys not feel this way?
I don't at all. Like if any of you would do that to me, I would like I don't understand what is there to be ashamed of, and I don't know. Like I mean, if if it gets ridiculous and you keep skipping me on like every like even mere chance of just conversation with somebody that you like, then it's just annoying because we cannot do
Oh,
anything
no,
together. But I mean, like if it's
yeah.
something normal in like in a normal amount where sometimes it happens and you're like, sorry, there might be something for me today, so I'm going to.
Oh no, but I was saying that.
I would understand. I would cheer
Mm.
for you.
But it was in the context of going on like a trip with your friends. So then you're like, oh, you found your bros, and you're like, oh, we're going on a trip to Italy. And then if I go off, you know, to do some cruising, I feel like that's kind of disrespectful because we had all planned to be on this trip together. If it's just like a
Uh,
day to day thing,
I
I don't think it matters.
I know what you mean,
Mhm.
but
I think
still,
exceptions can be
it,
made, especially
yeah,
if
yeah.
you're gonna come back on like the next day, the next morning. Then I think one evening wouldn't hurt.
Jesus Christ! Even if you go away for a week and I'm not going to see you for the rest of the trip, it's still going to be fine for me. Because I can understand if what you meet someone that you really like, and if you're enjoying your time with them so much, I like.
Yeah, as a good friend,
Because
I could
you know,
support
at that time, I really wanted that for myself as well. So I can't imagine me being upset for somebody like getting
exactly.
that, or God forbid, stand in the way of that.
Yeah, it's kind of selfish as well, though. Like, no, you decided to be. This is a bros thing. You can't go. It feels so selfish, though.
Yeah, I
And for
guess.
me, it kind of fills different slots. We have friendships, and friendships are like more stable, and it's like this whole separate family in a way that is kind of, maybe that's not the right word, but forgiving. Like
Mhm.
you can get out of the family, try to do something, and then you return, and the family accepts you back and like, hey, welcome back. Like, how have you been? Did it work out and stuff like that? Whereas relationships are a bit like more fragile and they need more attention. So it makes sense
I guess
that
so.
sometimes you have to prioritize it.
I don't know why. Like, I don't mind it when my friends do it, but I feel like I hold myself to that standard. It was so weird because whenever I go visit my friends in the UK, and he's a very outward, socially gay man, so he basically could get a hookup 3 times a day. So when I was on a trip with him, uh, if we go on a trip for 3 days, out of 2 days he would have some kind of rendezvous, and
I mean, like, okay, like, okay, hold on. If the whole time we're on the trip, you're just never there and you're just always getting some instead of hanging out, then that defeats the
And
purpose of
if it's
going to.
like that on every trip,
oh
like
yeah.
if it's you always, like if you're always like that, then we're just really different people. Like what's the point of hanging out if you don't have time to hang out with your friends, right? I don't know. It's different if, like, I guess maybe I would be so forgiving about it, since for me it felt like the chance of like having a relationship is low, and I would be really lucky if I would get one.
Oh
So
my God, no,
you know,
man, you're not
I would.
doing that.
So I would think that like that's why I would be so forgiving, because oh my god, he actually like he's actually have a chance to have a relationship, so better like make sure that nothing is in the way, or like I'm not like holding him down or something like that.
And you be
uh,
the one to shove him, and you be like, "Go, go."
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
wait, then why do you feel like that? Why do you feel like the chances of you finding somebody would be so low? Is it just like a self-confidence issue? Were you I mean, I don't okay, throughout the uni days, I've tried and failed several times to ask people out and go on dates and stuff. But I don't think I remember you going on dates and stuff. Did you just never like asked anybody out, or like where did this feeling of, oh, the chances of me for me are so low, um I'll be so happy to just get one. Where did that come from?
uh well, I think I just I don't know what are the reasons, but I was not how should I put it shortly? Basically, uh, it was just that I think I didn't know how to even to start a relationship. I, for some reason, like today, I think about it and it seems obvious, but back then I didn't understand this. But a lot of the times, I didn't give any real signs that I like a girl and that I want to go out on a date with her. And I wouldn't propose a date. I would kind of just, if I like a girl, I hang around with her, uh, and like try to be her friend, I guess.
It was
Because I
very
thought this
difficult.
is the way.
It,
I thought that's the way, but actually, Now I understand that you should be more obvious about your intentions, and then if the other person likes you in return, then everything will go. Then everything will like continue to
Like
develop.
naturally.
Yeah, and if not, then you kind of have to understand the subtle like signs that the other person can give you that he's not or she's not interested.
First of all, a lot of people actually thought you were cute, Dan, because I remember speaking to a bunch of because I tried to date people as well. They just all turn out to be straight. So so I would often have these conversations with that Swedish Korean Swedish girl, and I would have like I would speak to the Russian girl. I would talk to about girl stuff. We talk about men, and a lot of people thought you were cute, Dan. A lot of people thought you were among the good-looking guys.
Oh, thank you.
Oh,
And
now you.
man, you are good looking. You're a 2 meter tall guy. You're good looking. You're very polite. You're a gentleman. Like you really think about your partner. Fuck, I remember you used to bring. I don't know if you still do. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you used to bring flowers to Irina every Wednesday. I remember that. That was like, holy shit, this guy is a catch.
Did I? I don't remember
I don't know
that.
if you still do it, but yes, I
No,
remember.
definitely not every Wednesday. Nowadays, I usually do it like maybe once a month or maybe once per 2 months.
That
It depends.
reminds me of the time when Bernard and me and I forgot who, but we hung out with Irina, and because Dan was away on internship, I want to say, and I just remembered we were having Chinese food with Irina, and then Dan was on the screen. We called you from an iPad or something.
Oh
I
yeah, I
think he was
remember
still in
even
America.
pictures like that.
Or was it the other way round? It was Dan with us, and then we spoke to Irina on. No. That was the time when I actually
No.
I'm
met
pretty sure.
Irina because she came down from SHMS.
Yeah, and I think I remember there's a picture somewhere on Facebook with me on the iPad with
Yes.
a bowl of rice, I think, standing in front of me.
Oh my goodness, good times.
Oh my god, that's actually like, isn't it in Japan putting a bowl of rice is something you do for your deceased?
Offering for the dead.
Yeah,
You should have also stuck in the chopsticks vertically.
yeah. In my culture as well.
Utensils in it, yeah.
I remember because it was back in the Facebook days. So one of my relatives did say, "Oh, I'm so sorry for your loss. How did your friend die?" It was so funny. Oh man.
Didn't we talk about it as well? I'm pretty sure we did. Like we mentioned, like, oh my god, you shouldn't do that. Blah 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 blah.
We did, and we were in a Chinese restaurant, no less. So it was kind of disrespectful to them as well. But I don't think we cared. We were just a bunch of teenagers. Man, good times.
The
Good
world
times.
were in our hands.
Oh, and a lot of the girls that I spoke to about Dan, they also echoed the opinion that Dan is a very difficult person to read in terms of emotion. Like nobody knew if you were interested in them or you're not interested in them, which is why a lot of them thought you were gay because they were like, "Huh, I tried to flirt with him, but then like he's not interested. Why is that?" So then the next thing they go to, they were like, "Oh, maybe he's gay." As opposed to thinking maybe I'm inadequate. They just they blame it on
Like,
you.
yes, I think that's a better way to think about it. Maybe it's
Isn't
not
it
the
a very
right decision.
selfish?
Huh?
But isn't it a very selfish? Like, oh, everybody else and everything else in the world is wrong. Like, it's a very professional victim kind of mindset, which I really hate.
True.
We were young.
True, I agree.
I blame these women because the only reason I had a crush on Benny and then later on Dan was because they were encouraging me. They're like, "Oh, maybe he's gay," because apparently you guys were just
Yona was the one who said that.
because you guys did. No, I had to be sure as well because I was like, this is kind of sus. So you have no idea the amount of investigative work that I've done around you guys.
Okay, wait, but what was reasoning for assuming that I was gay?
She just thought you were kind of awkward, and she thought you're like a closeted gay guy.
So me being uh how do I term this properly? Like me not being able to come out of my social shell because of my traumatic past led her to think that I was gay.
No, I think it was because you slept in my bed
Yeah.
one time.
He's a horrible person. No, I'm
my
just
goodness.
joking.
No, I felt like I'm partially to blame as well because there was one time, Benny, you came to my room and then you slept in my room with, when I was roommates with and Alice was always there. And so maybe you thought that was the day that I quote unquote bagged you. Oh, the time is up.
Oh, okay. Well, it seems like
All
we
right,
can
bye
wrap
bye.
this.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. No. Oh, time flies. My goodness, it was so fast. We are supposed to talk about relationships as well, but romantic ones.
Well, we can talk about that next time, right?
Yeah.
At least we got through the whole like how we met stuff.
Let's do like a 10-minute blitz about relationships. Jamie,
No,
lead us. Everyone has 3 minutes.
Oh my goodness.
Right, no, Jamie, what is relationships to you? No. What
Oh
what is
no,
love?
man.
Maybe don't hurt me.
No,
Go, Jamie, go. Come on.
no, it's torture. All I could
Try,
say
try,
is
try, try something.
Okay, Jamie thinks relationships are torture, then go.
I think in a relationship it's really important to communicate because people they like to assume a lot of things, and sometimes you can do something and your partner will think that you meant this by doing it, but actually you didn't mean anything. You're just lazy or something happened. And if you don't talk, that person is going to keep developing and developing this thought, and they're going to think you're a shit, but actually you didn't mean anything with it. And if you talk about it and the earlier you talk about it, the earlier you understand that most likely it was a misunderstanding.
Dan sounds like a
Okay,
relationship advice coach.
for them. All right. Sorry, I'm blitzing through this, Jamie. I'm gonna talk over it. So for me, I completely agree with Dan. I think communication is super important. I think how you communicate is also very important. I think there is so much things to talk about. I'm actually a little bit in the military. I'm actually a little bit into this whole communication topic thingy. We can go into that details in that another time. Um, in addition to what Dan said, which I completely agree with, it's also you have to remember this is two individuals trying to work with each other. Of course, not everything will go the way you want it to. I think it's really important that you make compromises between each other, and also, oh man, I'm blitzing through this. And also, in addition to that, wait, there was something I wanted to say. Right, you're two individuals trying to make it work, so not everything is going to work out the way you want it to, but it's important to not think of it from a me, I perspective, but more into us, how are we going to do this together kind of perspective.
And that concludes our TED Talk on
No, no,
relationships.
wait. Jamie, now you go ahead. Now do a real
What?
3 minutes.
Blitz?
You can comment on us, babe.
Oh, okay, all right. I'm gonna come in as the guy with the pessimistic outlook on life. I feel like yes, you can communicate as much as you want. You can have a full understanding with each other, but I think the true test, the true trial in a relationship is always going to be time. And I think there's so many moments in our lives that in the future we would change as a person, and at any given moment we could change into a person that don't want to be related to another person. I don't want to be in a relationship. I feel like we should have a more kind of relaxed and nuanced view about this. Don't be too sad, even if it doesn't work out. If it does work out. Don't be too proud of it as well. It would be weird. And I think there's just such a big emphasis on status when it comes to relationship that somehow in the Western world, that if you're dating somebody, if you're married to somebody, it signals to others that you are valued. And there's something wrong with, a man in his 30s who's still single, which is me, and people will look at me in a different light. And I think we should have like an overhaul view when it comes to relationship. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
that's a good
hold
thought.
Uh,
Go ahead, Bernard.
there's some things I definitely disagree with what you say. I mean, I think your approach into the whole thing plays a role as well. Because if you approach somebody with the intention of, oh, I need to be with somebody, so that I'm more valued by society, so that I can find somebody else better, that I feel like that approach is already wrong. And you say that people can change, you can turn from liking somebody into not liking them anymore. Yes, of course, that depends on your initial thought of them, right? It's also your approach and your mindset. If you approach somebody, you put them on a pedestal, you only see their good side, and then over time you start to slowly learn, like, oh shit, they're actually like a walking red flag. Like, oh my god, they're so selfish, they only care about themselves, they're narcissistic. Yeah, but
My
I don't
goodness.
think.
There's far too much to talk about this, right? Red flags, and then
No,
the
3 minutes is not enough. I really think we should talk about this in greater detail in the next episode.
okay, we
But,
will.
but just to finish up what I wanted to say, I don't think you fall out of love just like that. I always feel like, from all the people I spoke to, I feel like there is a root cause that's never been resolved, which led to this falling out. It's not just something that comes out of nowhere. It's a symptom of an issue that's been untreated for too long. It's what I want to say.
Mm.
Good thought. Good thought. I agree.
Yeah, I
That-
feel like
that-
we just concluded our episode.
we basically were warming up for 1 hour and then did a 10-minute podcast.
No, it was a 5-minute conversation that we covered this topic. No, but we can speak about it.
Covered though, because hold on. I have a lot to share about this. Did you know, like, there's a way how, like, there's two kinds. Oh my god, no, we have to wait until the next episode.
Yeah, let's do it next time. Come on, there's so much to cover. Too much crap.
We have to create a system where there's a lot of pressure on us to finish our topic
Stick
fast,
to the
because
agenda.
I feel like the conversation is more interesting. It's like a very alive, fast. We keep switching who's speaking.
Oh my goodness, yeah, that's true. I
Okay,
think
then maybe there should be like a custodian, like, amongst us, like, keeps us on track, you know. But
Mm.
then again, I want us to just, like, this podcast hangout thingy, right? It's
I wonder,
just
can
to
we
have
make
fun.
Chat GPT or some other AI be our, like, not judge, but somebody that leads the conversation and kind of keeps us in check, and like, okay, Bernard, you're speaking for too long. Now somebody else.
You mean like a moderator, right?
Yeah.
I want the
And
moderator to be in the voice, to have the same voice as the Daleks from Doctor Who. Now
Yeah, it
you
would be fun
speak.
to make him something like with an attitude.
That would be funny. That would be nice. Yeah, let's do that. All right. Well, thank you guys. This conclude our episode today. So I think next on the list we're gonna delve deeper into love. So stay tuned.
But I wouldn't say love. I
Everyone.
would say more like relationships. And
Yeah.
it doesn't have only to be romantic. There's relationships between friends, relationships between family, and then there's the romantic ones as well.
All right.
True.
So goodbye, guys.
Thank you for
Bye.
listening.
Thank you, everyone.